Uncanny X-Men 189. Um, this is the beginning of a storyline that I personally did not really enjoy that much, but we'll get more into that as we talk about it. But essentially, what happens here is, there's a lot of stuff kind of going on. So essentially, we have Rachel Summers and Amara um, walking around New York City, kind of taking in the sights, looking at the Statue of Liberty, when Rachel Summers has a PTSD throwback to the future where she was used to hunt down mutants. So the two of them end up, kind of walking around shopping. Uh, Meanwhile, as well, we see the rest of the X-Men kind of saying goodbye to Storm. She is actually going to Africa to kind of go into the next stage of her life because she lost her powers again. Or, not again, but she lost her powers. So she's saying goodbye to all the X-Men. Um, Another kind of plot line going on here. We have Miguel Rodriguez, which I think I might have mentioned, a couple of issues back, that found like this amulet, and he's like a dock worker or something, and he's kind of jerking around with this amulet. I don't know. He puts it in his locker, and people get obsessed about it and all that stuff. I don't know. It has something to do with what's coming up here, but I honestly don't like the storyline so much, so I'll get to that later. But Rachel and Amara show up, and Amara is able to point out Celine, who I think I've mentioned in previous podcasts, and they kind of follow her to this place in New York that's run by the Hellfire Club. So Rachel and Amara sneak in, end up getting caught, end up being bailed out by the X-Men, and Celine is there kind of to petition to join the Hellfire Club. So eventually, surprisingly, they're able to get away. Sebastian Shaw is kind of like, yo, this was not an idea to have the X-Men kidnapped, so we can all just agree to go our separate ways. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, so sorry if there's some background noise. I'm actually at work filming this. Sorry. Or I guess recording it, not filming it. But anyways, yeah, so it's it's a lot of Rachel and Amara stuff going on here. At the end of the issue, we see this guy. I think his name's actually, it's Jamie, not Miguel. I don't know why I said Miguel. Jamie ends up getting killed by this guy who grabs the amulet and then unleashes this giant fire that starts this terrible transformation, if you will, of New York, which is what our storyline that's coming up is. Honestly, this issue is very forgettable for me. Rachel and Amara are great characters, but there's just so much going on here, and there's really, not a lot of consistency. But and this is just the beginning of a storyline again that I am not a big fan of. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that's been Uncanny X-Men 189. On to issue 190.